I have no idea what I'm going to say. I want to say this story on this channel in this way to help anybody that might be feeling down about themselves in this world of 8 billion whatever people doing just about everything, where we're in a time zone where we know everything, right? Like in this universe, I think that it's very, very old and everything's been done like a billion times, including maybe even civilization, as far as I know, rebuilding itself, tearing itself back down, rebuilding itself, tearing itself back down. But the difference is today is that we know about everything. So it makes it hard when comparing yourself to other people. We're all within our own story, and there's no need to compare ourselves to other people. Nobody is alike. And as incredible as that sounds, with all the people and more people to be born, we are individuals. What happens in somebody else's life isn't what needs to happen in yours. Just because you aren't successful with what you want to be successful at, or you had a dream that didn't work out in your teenage years or your 20s, and now you're in your 30s or your 40s or your 50s or 80s or whatever, that doesn't mean that it's not possible, right? And it doesn't mean that even if you're not successful, you can't enjoy whatever it is. And there's different levels of success. Nowadays with the internet, we see all these different TikTokers and YouTubers and artists around the world. But the truth is, growing up, I knew people, I'm not going to say, I was almost going to say his name, but I knew this guy that grew to a certain level of wealth, and I worked for him. He was one of my first jobs. He was the longest me basically owning the business job that I ever had. I worked for him for like 4 years, and he was impressive to me at that young age. He drove a nice car. He had multiple cars. He had multiple businesses, and this dude was so successful. But on the greater scheme of things, all right, if you go outside of our local area, he was like nothing. Like he's in the same class as a homeless person almost, because he's not like an elite guy. Like, I don't know how much money he really has, but he's had some ups and downs in his life, divorces, blah, blah, blah. But the point is that in my local area, this dude was a baller, and I looked up to him, and he was nice to me. And there's other stories behind him where like he wasn't the greatest of trustworthy type character. So he was like our local Mr. Burns, if you will. There's been times in my life where I was like, you know what, if it was going to happen, it already would have happened, and there's not really any point of trying. And I've had many dreams. I'm not just talking about filmmaking. Like at one time I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, or at least get semi-pro skateboard level, and I may have been good enough to actually do that, but other things in my life got in the way. Myself got in the way. And at one time I was really into rapping, which I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about. I wanted to be a rapper, and I've always been into filmmaking, but then because of life things in my life, mainly selfish reasons even, I did put that on postpone for many, many years. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't try now. And just because there's all these people filming TikTok on their phone, and just because whoever and whatever had this or that happen, doesn't mean anything to me, right? All that matters is if I enjoy it, if I'm learning. I think there is something that I learned from my grandpa, who wasn't that nice of a person. He had something where it was like learning was so important, and he even learned on his deathbed. He continued to learn things, reading scientific articles and reading books and just educating himself. And he was one of the only people of his age that knew about technology the way, younger people did. I just think bettering yourself for bettering yourself's sake, there's a lot of validity to it. And being lucky or being successful is, as they say, a combination of a lot of things. It's being the right person at the right place at the right time. And you got to prepare to be that right person for when you're at the right place at the right time. And that may never happen. But if it never happens, at least you still have bettered your mind and stayed younger because of it, and stayed more sharp because of it, and learned things about yourself because of it. There's a lot more benefits than just financial gain to going down whatever path you feel like going down, whatever you're passionate about. And if you're not passionate about something, then go out and try a bunch of stuff. And maybe you'll find a passion. And if nothing else, you'll learn a bunch of stuff. And to me, that's such an important part of life that gives me different purposes at different times, that allows me to focus on things other than how I feel and constantly taking my temperature, which leads to anxiety and depression and whatever, right? It's the greatest escape is to concentrate on something, whatever that something is. And in my case, I like creating things. When I was like learning how to edit, I was like on it every moment of every day. And like I went to sleep, I would dream about edits. And like I still do sometimes. I still dream about edits, especially if I'm like jumping into a program I don't know. But even when I'm like doing hard client work, or on my other channel, I do like crazy edits, I'll start dreaming about it, right? Especially if I'm learning a new technique or whatever. So let's get into it. Sometimes I feel like I wasted a lot of time, and in a lot of cultural and societal ways I did. Some of that was well worth the experiences that I had. Living life on the edge and finding the good in people and places that most wouldn't expect there to be. Gaining perspective that most only read about in books, and having experiences and stories that most people only experience in movies. However, as time progressed, the free lifestyle I was wanting to live slowly turned into my own making of a cage. Sometimes when I look back, I tell people and think to myself, I didn't think that I would live past 30. Other times, I tell people and think that I was going to live forever. But the truth is, I don't even think I really considered the future at all. Always just thinking in the short term. Not that I lived in the moment, but I was always thinking about what I could do that day to fix my needs. Move on for the next couple days or a week at the most. But now that time has gone on and I've learned so much about myself, and looking back of what could have been, I can fall into regret. However, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, or learned the things, or have the stories that I could tell you if the things didn't happen the way they did. If only I would have started a little sooner. Imagine where I would be. Imagine if I would have pursued skateboarding the way I did this crazy lifestyle of mine. Imagine if I would have pursued rapping or any of the other creative hobbies that I've had all my life. But the thing is about me then was that my self-esteem was so low, I didn't even see it as an option. I didn't think that there was even a possibility of any sort of success. I didn't see it as worth my time if I was not going to find that success. Even though like I enjoyed the activities on their own, it was filled with a bit of depression and anxiety of comparing myself to others and wanting to be somebody else that I wasn't. Not necessarily in an internal way, but in an external way. Always comparing my finances to somebody else. I don't know, it's really hard to explain unless you've felt it, but it's basically like the feeling of feeling unworthy. So I wouldn't be the person that I am today without those experiences, and who knows where I would have ended up. The way the world works, who knows, I would have gotten hit by a bus, and life is too short for regrets. And if I was just to sit on this couch and mope and not create anything farther, now that I have cleaned up my life, now that I am living closer to the person that I want to be in this world, then it would just be more wasted time. And I finally realized that creating for myself, creating for my close friends, and the small audience that I have with these videos, or sharing a cool trick that I pull off at the skate park, or a rhyme that I'm freestyling with some friends, is all worth it despite any sort of worldly comparison of these 8 billion people that live on it. And the truth is, it's all about perspective. We see ourselves the way we train ourselves to see ourselves, and you can train yourself, or at least I can train myself, to see myself in a way that fits my goals and works with me rather than against me. No, I'm not perfect. I'm not some guru. I'm not here to like teach you some crap to buy my course or something like that. No, I'm just a regular human that has figured out a thing or two, going to the dark side and coming back to the light side. Although I wish I would have started the things that I do now, or even something that was similar, and just learned a skill or did something better with my time. This time that I did spend doing all that crazy stuff gave me the experiences that I have that is worthwhile to tell someone else. And it also leads me to the age that I am now, which isn't that old at all. but it's not, like I'm never going to be a 20-year-old millionaire. Maybe I'll never be a millionaire at all. Most of us won't be, right? I've also learned having a mind like mine that has an obsessive tendency. Things that I like and get into can turn into this like obsessiveness of trying to constantly better myself to the point where I could potentially go crazy. And now that I know that about myself, I can watch myself and make sure, or try to make sure, that I don't go crazy, even though there's still a little bit of crazy on both sides of everything. But that is what happened to me with skateboarding when I was a kid, is like I became like the best in the area, but I was nowhere near the best of like the country, or like when I went to Portland or something like that. Like I could keep up with the best of them, but I wasn't gonna like win any major skate contests, or at least that's what I thought in my head. And so you know what I did as a kid? I never entered any of the skateboard contests because I was too scared of like what that would do to my ego. Plus, I'm like a really shy person and the crowd scared me. But if I could go back, I would have. Even if I would have placed last, it would have been an experience worthwhile. Some way that I would have learned something and experienced something I wouldn't have any other way on this life. And like my grandpa reading on his deathbed, I find that there is value in making things. There's value in farthering ourselves. And there's people that make it when they're kids, sure. There's Tony Hawk. He was the child prodigy, right? There's Shaun White, or, whatever, right? And, in the rap world, you look at Eminem, and sure, he was younger than I am at the time, but I believe he was like 26 and homeless when he got found by Dre. And there's countless other examples of that. So the truth is, within life, you never really know. Some people have it really easy and start early. Some people have it really easy and never start at all. Some people have it really hard and start early and find success in their early 20s or even when they're teenagers. And some people don't even think about whatever they're pursuing until their 30s, 40s, 50s, or even later. And some of those people find success and some of them don't. But I believe that all of it was worthwhile. Because what is life? For some people, that's going to work and coming back. Maybe it's their kids. Maybe, in my case, it's my dog and my family, my loved ones. What do I care about in life? What is there? When I was younger and I was pursuing that crazy life, I was searching for an answer because life felt so empty, and there was, like many say, a hole in me that I was trying to fill up. Something where if I wasn't, I was constantly testing my temperature and comparing myself to myself and watching my life fall apart at the end. Sure, there was good times. There was moments of euphoria. There was those highs that never will come again, in the words of Hunter S. Thompson. But the thing is, I'm just trying to drill into people's head with this video is that the story you have is yours and mine. My story is my story. Your story is your story. And nobody's ever lived your story. Nobody's had your set circumstances and feel the way that you feel. And no matter if you're trying to build a new company, or you're a painter, or a rollerblader, or anything else that we pursue as these crazy human beings in this world of ours. Because, my friends, there is no magic rainbow. There is no Disneyland ending where you live happily ever after. No, it's just now. It's just now, again and again, every day, until it's not. And life is about how you live those days in between when you're born and when you die. And you can take that in a really positive way, or you can take that in a really negative way. But however you feel to take that is yours to take as you will. There's many things that are completely out of our control. And of course, perspective is everything. But unlike someone like Eckhart Tolle, that's just like, stay in the now and, then everything will be okay, which is partially true. There are horrible events that happen that are out of our control. It is how we deal with those things that define us, and how we grow and learn how to deal with ourselves and our own emotions that help us to succeed in a way that's bigger than finances, feeling good within our own skin. And so, my friends, I'm just trying to tell people it doesn't matter if you're 40 or if you're 15 or if you're 80 or 30 or whatever. If you have a dream, or if you have something that you want to pursue, and sometimes you go on the internet and Instagram, Facebook, and you see all these entrepreneurs being so successful. Somebody started 6 months ago and you've been doing it 10 years and they become a millionaire seemingly overnight, which is almost never the case. There's always a behind the scenes. That just because they're living their story doesn't stop you from living yours. It's not that they win and you lose. It's that we can all win together. So remember, this is YouTube. Like and subscribe, and I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you in the next life. Tell me what knowledge you're pursuing. I have a friend that's going to college who's a little bit older than me, and he's going to make it, dude, and he's going to probably make some guaranteed money, get some retirement. People are living longer than ever, and we have more time to start than ever. But if you don't start, then time's just going to keep going by. Let me know what your hobbies are. What do you want to better yourself being? Like, I'm a filmmaker. I love cameras. I love computers. It's a popular thing right now. But I also like a bunch of other stuff. And I feel like having purpose has helped me so much with my sobriety, with life in general, and just having something to focus on that's positive. More than, like, of course I want everything to be successful. I want to make a living. I've even made some money editing at this point, which is just like mind-blowing. It's awesome. I set my mind out to do something and I did it, which is something I haven't done very much in this life. And I saw it was possible, and it's like changed my mind about a great many things. And I mean, other than skateboarding, filmmaking is like what, it has actually shown results. And it's the only thing really in my adulthood. And I just think it's incredible no matter what you're pursuing, if you're trying to, whatever, you get it. Seriously. Like, tell me in the comments, let me know. It's not just for analytics, but the liking and subscribing is. So, man, thumbs up to you and this video.